and so forth.
Is there
Mr.
objection to
President,
proceeding to the measure?
I ask unanimous consent.
Without, what,
That-
the senator will suspend.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Without objection, the committee is discharged, and the Senate will now proceed to the measure.
I ask unanimous consent that the bill be considered and read a third time and passed, and the motion to reconsider be considered and laid upon the table.
Without objection.
Mr. President, this is truly a tragic case. The young woman on my right was born in Guatemala. She suffers from a rare life-threatening disorder called MSP type 6. This is a genetic condition caused by the absence of an enzyme that's needed for the growth of healthy bones and connective tissue. She uses a wheelchair, has a shunt in her brain, and requires a tracheotomy to help her breathe. Because this was a clinical trial in 2003, when Ms. Bueso was 7 years old, doctors invited her and her family to come to California so that she could participate in a clinical trial to treat her condition. That trial led to the development of a treatment that is now approved by the FDA. It is a 6-hour infusion of a prescription drug that replaces the enzyme lacking in people with MPS type 6. Ms. Bueso now receives this life-saving treatment every week at the University of California, San Francisco Children's Hospital. This treatment is not available in Guatemala. If she were removed from the United States, she would no longer have access to the life-saving medical care she needs. She would die. For the past 10 years, Ms. Bueso and her family have received deferred action from U.S. Citizen and Immigration Services so that she could continue receiving the treatments that keep her alive. In 2019, she and her family were notified that their extensions of deferred action were denied and that they would be deported if they did not leave the United States within 33 days. This decision was effectively a death sentence for this young person. USCIS ultimately reconsidered its decision and granted Ms. Bueso and her parents an additional extension of deferred action. But since then, she and her family have lived in fear that they might be forced to leave the United States with no way to provide for the care she needs. She's beaten the odds because of one thing: the life-saving treatment that she's receiving in the United States. She is now 26 years old. She lives in Concord, California. She is a 2018 graduate of Cal State University in the East Bay, and I am very proud of her. She has become an outspoken advocate on behalf of people with rare diseases. Her family pays taxes, owns a home, and is active in their community. The Bueso family will now be allowed to remain in California, where they will continue to enrich their community and where Ms. Bueso will be able to receive the care that allows her to live a life and to thrive. So I thank you, and I know my colleague, Senator Padilla, is here on the floor, and I would like to yield to him. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Senator from California.
Thank you, Mr. President. I too want to thank Senator Feinstein for her years of effort to get to this point. I am proud to stand today and now celebrate the passage of H.R. 785, which will provide relief to the Bueso family. Now, as you heard, the Buesos came to California 20 years ago from Guatemala because their daughter Isabel had been diagnosed with a rare, dangerous genetic disorder that can cause enlarged organs and skeletal abnormalities. And let me be clear, she was invited, that's right, invited to the United States to participate in a clinical trial at that time by doctors in the San Francisco Bay Area to help find a treatment for this condition. And thanks to her participation in this clinical trial, doctors eventually identified and created an effective, life-saving treatment for this disease, not just to help save her life, but others. So yes, her participation, the treatment that was developed, will save lives of Americans. Now, to this day, Isabel Bueso depends on this drug, which is administered to her at a hospital in Oakland, California. But more than that, without this treatment, which is not even available in Guatemala, doctors have said that she cannot survive without it. So here at home, in America, Isabel is an inspiration to countless others. As you heard, she graduated summa cum laude from California State University, East Bay, where she didn't just graduate with these honors, but she helped create a scholarship for students with disabilities and is now active as an advocate for immigrants and others with disabilities. So I was proud to co-sponsor this bill because there are few options left for this family to adjust their status. Isabel has renewed her medical deferred action status every 2 years for the past 20. Her father obtained H-1B status, but Isabel, now too old to be considered a dependent who could then just adjust to get a green card, that's a story for another day. We know the urgency with which we need to modernize our immigration system. But this is a classic example of folks that are harmed by the overdue modernization of our immigration system. Isabel and her family have deserved better than to be stuck in this limbo for so long. And so, colleagues, I'm grateful for your support for this measure, which was approved unanimously by the House of Representatives already. And so as we are in the holiday season, all I can say is that I'm grateful that the United States Senate was able to pass this bill today. Thank you very much. Thank you, Senator Feinstein. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor.
Mr. President,
Senator from California.
may I just make one remark? And I want to thank the senator for his excellent remarks. You know, once in a while, we have a case that is really so difficult and sad to solve. And this is one of them. It happens to be a constituent of both of ours in California, and they have asked to help. And I hope this Senate will respond and give that help. Thank you very much.